What's up guys, it's a really good morning today because we have here the BMW M850i xDrive. So now I'm going to first take you on a quick walk around before we get to what's really important, driving it. So let's first start with the front. These are the BMW laser light adaptive LED headlamps, capable of shining up to 600 meters ahead. These are also the slimmest headlamps BMW has ever made. Now, this 850i comes with the M Performance package. Now, that includes the front splitter here for reduced lift. You also get blue brake calipers and you get the M spoiler at the back. So the brakes are 4-pot calipers in the front, single-pot calipers at the back. These are 20-inch style 782 wheels. I think they look absolutely gorgeous on this car. It also comes with soft close doors, adaptive suspension, rear wheel steering at the back here, hands-free powered tailgate. And because this is a Grand Tourer, boot space does matter, and good news, it's actually quite big. At about 420 liters, it's quite deep inside but rather narrow actually. So golf bags, duffel bags, still no problem. I can imagine you fitting easily 5 LV duffel bags in here. Let's move on to the inside. Very typical of a BMW interior. So you get this new digital cockpit, which changes according to your drive modes, but that's really it. This center section here, you can only choose to display the navigation. Nothing more beyond that. Here's what I find to be really cool. See this reverse camera? See how it turns? Not only the first BMW I've driven to have this, but the first car I've ever driven to have this. Not just for the back, but also the forward-facing camera. Very impressive. So as for the rest of the car, you get these bucket seats here with the M color stitched on the seat belts. Otherwise, it's actually very BMW. The only standout feature is this sort of glass crystal effect light gear knob. I think it's a bit frivolous, but then again, it's a 8 series, probably necessary. As for the rest of the car, that's pretty much it. You get a nice thick M steering wheel. You get this merino leather upholstery by BMW individual. 16 speaker Harman Kardon system. As for back seat, there's really not much to it. I wouldn't recommend fitting adults in it unless you really dislike them. Otherwise, kids below 6 years old, I guess it will be perfect. And that's pretty much it really with the interior. I know what you're thinking, it doesn't really pop, it doesn't make me feel special, but trust me, with the kind of attention that you're getting from how this car looks on the outside, uncles, aunties looking at you, the guys of all ages looking at you, their girlfriends looking at you, that's when you feel special. So let's not waste more time, let's go and drive this thing. Mountains have been awakened by the sound of V8. My goodness, this thing. So let's go through the figures for a bit. 4.4 litre twin turbo V8. You're looking at 530 horsepower, 750 Newton meters of torque, 0 to 100, 3.8 seconds. Top speed, 250 kilometers an hour. Although there is no problem whatsoever for this 850i to reach that speed, trust me. First impressions, really comfortable. I mean, I'm in Sports Plus now. I've been driving through really narrow B roads, really rural areas, urban areas, highways. The only thing that's been driving me mad is the constant realization of possibly not being able to ever afford this car, because this truly is something special. I mean, the 8 series has always been sort of like the halo icon car for BMW, and when BMW said they're bringing this car back, I'm guessing expectations were very high, and my goodness, the exterior design just absolutely lives up to it. And then now you have the drive, which is absolutely phenomenal for a 1.9 ton car. It's just so nimble, there's so much performance. And I've had a look at the performance figures, the torque graph. My god, it's so linear and you can experience it from behind the wheel. When it just comes and it just goes all the way. It's insane. I like how this car has a very distinct duality to it. On one hand, if you need comfort 90% of the time, when you're driving from home to work, to meet your friends, to go to the golf club, it's supremely comfortable. But when you're on these type of roads, it can be such an animal. And then there's the other thing. On the outside, it looks so, in Cantonese we call seaman, very proper, very gentle. Nothing would prepare you for the kind of performance the 850i has and the noise that comes with it. Oh my god, this is incredible. You can just attack the corners and you can feel the car just trying to turn in, no matter the dimensions, no matter the width of the road. That rear wheel steering really helps this car, especially on this type of roads when it's really narrow and you need to make tight turns and when you're trying to really push it. It's such an animal. And even in this Sports Plus mode, I'm pretty sure you can see me jumping around a bit. I still wouldn't call it uncomfortable. Not by any means. I'm not sure if you can hear those farts, but they sound amazing. That's the only time I would compliment the sound of a fart. I've been driving this car for a few days now, and I can confidently tell you there has not been one test car which I want to keep so desperately as this. And the engine produces so much torque, you don't even have to downshift. Whichever gear you're at, just tap on the throttle a bit and the car just goes like crazy. As one of my colleagues just said, this car is not meant to be a weapon. It's a Grand Tourer, but my goodness, it can be such a deadly one when you want it to be. And like I said earlier, I've spent quite a lot of time in this car, and trust me when I tell you, most of the time you don't even need to go past 2,500 RPM to get performance. Most of the time you don't even need to press more than 1/5 of the throttle pedal to get the car going. It's so livable. The only downside I can share from this whole experience is that forward visibility can be a little tricky, but once you get used to it, it's perfectly fine. Steering definitely feels a lot heavier at this higher speed in this Sports Plus mode, but really helps you place the car, position the car, just point and then shoot your way out of the corner. Wow. And there's this other thing as well that's very, very BMW. You can just get in and straight away drive it as though you've been owning this car for the last few years. It's so easy to get used to. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. The cabin design isn't particularly impressive. If I were to blindfold you, put you in this car and you open your eyes, you'd probably think that you're in a 5 Series or a 7 Series. And despite having a digital instrument cluster, all that changes when you switch from sports, comfort and eco is the color of the rings. You don't even get a different display for the speedometer. But honestly, does it matter? Not really. In Sports Plus mode, just press 1/8 of the throttle and you constantly get this. Well, I think that's BMW following trends enough. Any more than that and I don't think the purists can accept it. at all that. It's gimmicks really, but like, am I enjoying it? Definitely. And then when you're done with all that, just push it to comfort and everything just becomes a lot quieter, a lot more civil, a lot more comfortable, a lot more smoother, less wound up. Speaking of wound up, the V8 characters in the Mercedes-Benz and BMWs couldn't be any more different. They're worlds apart, day and night. With the Mercedes-Benz, you get this high-pitched scream and it feels like it's just barking at you, shouting at you in your face. With BMW, it screams a bit and then it mellows out and then you get this really deep, bassy rumble. While I really enjoy the sound that Mercedes V8s make, I like the BMW's one a lot better. And as a whole, I feel like the high-end Mercedes AMGs just feel a lot more wound up. It feels very tense. It's as if it's telling you, come on, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, all the time, even in comfort. Whereas with the BMWs, when you put it in comfort, it's really in comfort. But when you put it to like Sports Plus, for example, it feels like you've awakened the beast. Depression is really gonna kick in when I return this car. Anyways guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video.